Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So next up, I wanted to do a comparison to the Fiddies oil, which we used on the Forever bench at the end of last year. And I wanted to compare that directly to Rubio Monocoat Pure. I've used Rubio quite a bit, and don't get me wrong, I really like Rubio. So, but I wanted to compare the two because the cost difference is so great. And I created an Excel spreadsheet and went through things, tried to go through them fairly scientifically, but as always with this stuff, it is somewhat subjective. So I'm going to put up my high resolution pictures as we go along, as high resolution as I could make them, and go over kind of my findings and let you see the results for yourself. So we're going to start off with the application. In the application side, I gave the slide edge actually to the Fiddies. The Fiddies is just applied with a bristled brush, and it calls for a light coat. Now, in reality, it actually calls for 2 coats that are 6 hours apart, but we'll get into that in just a minute. For the record, these samples as they sit right here only have 1 coat on them. The Rubio Monocoat is applied with the white Scotch-Brite pad, or buffed in and then wiped back. So technically this is a little bit faster, but it has some consequences to that speed as well, and I'll get to those as well. Cure time, my edge went to Rubio all day long. Within an hour, my Rubio side was, I could touch it and feel it, and nothing was coming off on my hands. Where, as I said, the Fiddies side, it wanted 6 hours between coats, and I really kind of felt like it needed that whole 6 hours. So cost is hands down on Fiddies. It is well over 50% of the cost of Rubio Monocoat. Rubio Monocoat, of course, comes in 2 parts. Although you don't need the hardener, it does come in 2 parts, and you're paying for that. So I think, let me look it up here. Yeah, cost on this was $69.46 as of today, when I film this, not when it comes out. And cost of a similar size in Rubio Monocoat, not this, the next one up, was $150, or 1 liter versus 1.3 liters. Now, I will say that Rubio Monocoat, you get a lot more mileage out of Rubio Monocoat, I think, than you do for this. If we go all the way back to the Forever bench, and we only did 1 coat, but we did that entire bench, took roughly a half a liter, or half of this can, which I thought was pretty good, but I think the Rubio Monocoat would have gone further. So, as I go through the maple, the African mahogany, and the walnut, I'm going to put my pictures up here. Just keep in mind, right now, these only have 1 coat. Tonight, I'm going to go ahead and put the 2nd coat on this, and then I will come back out probably in the morning and give my results on the 2nd coat, again with a set of pictures to show the difference. So the maple, this guy up here, I thought was pretty much a wash. If I had to give the edge to one over the other, it would have probably been the Fiddies. Again, it's subjective, but perhaps that maple was just a little bit lighter on the Fiddies side. Walnut, again, I think we got a little bit more pop out of the walnut, but I also thought the Fiddies was a little bit more even overall. Some of those hard knot areas almost, with the Rubio, almost showed a blotchy color a little bit, where the Fiddies didn't show that, although there were more knots in the Rubio side than there were in the Fiddies side. So, take that with a grain of salt. The African mahogany, again, there was a little bit more pop in the Rubio side than there was in the Fiddies side, but I think that the Fiddies was also a little bit more even. So, that depends on what you want. Regardless, in all three species, the Rubio side was much smoother, but it really wasn't something that the old paper bag could not solve on the Fiddies side. So that wasn't a game changer to me. Obviously, this stuff is very difficult to film and get pictures of. And overall, does the Rubio look better? Probably in the darker woods, probably so, but I don't know that it's worth more than double the cost either, and easier application with the Fiddies. So let me go ahead and get a second coat on the Fiddies tonight, and I'll take some more pictures and show you the final results in the morning, and then you'll have to make up your mind as to whether or not that cost difference is worth it to you and your project. I tried to pick three species that kind of went the gamut. African mahogany is a little bit more on the reddish side, kind of a medium. Your sapele, that kind of stuff would fall into this range. Maple is maple. Anything maple is going to yellow over time. I don't think any oil finish is not going to do that. And walnut, obviously being the darkest of the woods here, always looks good with an oil finish. Those of you that have followed me for a while know that one of my favorite finishes on walnut is to hit it with a coat of Armor Seal and let that cure, and then follow it up with a water-based finish. And I didn't do that here, although I could. It would just be time consuming. But for now, let me get the second coat of Fiddies on here, and we'll go through another set of pictures, and then I'll give you my final thoughts. All right, so I actually stayed up a little later tonight to get the second coat on, and I did put the second coat of Fiddies on. I have not done anything to the Rubio, and I'm going to go ahead and put these pictures up here for you. On the maple, again, I think it's pretty close to a complete wash. It's a subjective opinion. I think the Fiddies is just a little bit lighter, but with the second coat, it has a little bit more sheen to it. With the African mahogany, again, I don't think we got any more color pop out of it, but it did, again, it added to the sheen and obviously the smoothness. Both of these were much smoother, and pretty much the same with the walnut. Let me see if I can get this out of your way. I don't really think it added any more pop to the grain, and it didn't change, it didn't make it look more like the Rubio on the walnut. I still think we got more darkness through this area of the grain on the walnut with the Rubio Monocoat, but I think we got a more even look overall out of the Fiddies, and of course, again, more sheen and much smoother. Now, I haven't done anything to these on the Fiddy side yet, but I really do think that even just a paper bag treatment, and both of these will feel very similar. To me, it feels like just a couple of dust nibs, but overall appearance-wise, I think the Fiddy side looks a little bit more like a wipe-on poly than a hard wax oil. Is that a bad thing? Well, it's subjective and up to you to decide. I really like the look that the Fiddies gave me. I was surprised at what I got out of the second sheen, and it would be interesting to buff them out and then take a look at them side by side, and I may do that, but that's up for another test. So for now, I'm just going to put these aside and probably use them as sample boards for clients to see how they want to spend their money. As in the end, both are great finishes, and I think it's subjective as to which you like more. So for me going forward, I know I will probably be spending a lot less on Rubio Monocoat, and I will be spending a little bit more on the Fiddies. It was a quick, easy finish to apply, and with or without the second coat, I was pretty impressed with this finish, especially on the dark woods. So that's just my opinion. You guys make that decision for yourself. That's going to wrap it up for this one, guys. Until next time. Take care.